In one of my lectures from the past, I just stumbled across a great statement by Sri Ramakrishna about realization. It's quite packed. I mean, it's a very dense couple of sentences. So I thought I would just share them and then just riff a little bit, see if we can kind of take them apart and understand them better. Ramakrishna says in his Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, God is realized as soon as the mind becomes free from attachment. Whatever appears in the pure mind is the voice of God. That which is pure mind is also pure buddhi. That again is pure Atman, because there is nothing pure but God. But in order to realize God, one must go beyond dharma and adharma. All right, there are a lot of words in there that aren't very common. Let's go through and kind of take it apart. This first sentence, God is realized as soon as the mind becomes free from attachment. What is this notion of attachment? Attachment is when you think a thought that occurs to you has something to do with you. Quite frankly, that's what attachment is. We see it it is the cause of the fall of Adam and Eve, actually, in the Christian scriptures. Attachment is the three-step process that Eve goes through when she looks at the ego tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. There's three steps. One, you find something beautiful. Second step, you want to own it, you want to take it. And third, you think that it's going to give you some kind of fulfillment. You think that it's going to be something to make you whole. That was the three-step process that Eve went through, and in order to eat that tree of egoism, or to eat that fruit of egoism in the Garden of Eden. So to do away with those things, to understand that the thoughts of your mind are just the product of an organ that secretes thought, and that they aren't yours in particular, and that they don't describe you or own you. Now, that's a tall order, for sure. But you see these things, as time goes, it brings things in front of us. They appear for their moment and then they fall back into emptiness again. And when we interrupt that process, when we see something that we like or that we want or that we think we can get something from, we grab that and we don't let it go through its natural process of arising, appearing, and then collapsing back into emptiness. We hold it and we try and share our immortality with it by placing it in our memory as such, and we hold on to it. And the problem with that is that it colors our experience of the moment. We can no longer see the moment as it is. So God is realized as soon as the mind becomes free of attachment. When you're able just to watch with disinterest as things of the mind come and go. And in that silence over time, as the mind becomes less important in its content, what happens is that natural wisdom, that innate wisdom of yourself begins to be available to you spontaneously. What happens in that is your ability to love broadens, and you can be more equanimical in your expression of love, giving to everyone equally, loving everyone equally. Whatever appears in the pure mind is the voice of God. Now, pure mind is that mind with no attachment, right? Another way of talking about it, since it gets a little bit difficult, is this notion of me and mine. The mind, that is a foreign thought to the mind, because we in our nature are one, right? We in our nature are infinite, immortal, ever free, and ever pure. And this notion of being a body and mind, just like we've entered into a dream, and when you dream at night, you enter into a new body that inhabits a new world, your dream world. And in the dream, you believe that dream to be real, and you live accordingly. And so a pure mind would, if in a dream, if you were pure mind in a dream, you would know that you were the dreamer, and you would know that everything in that dream was equally you, because you, in fact, are the dreamer and not the dreamed, right? And so this knowing that you're not the particular in the dream, but that you are the whole, right? Through that knowledge, you come in touch with the dreamer, with the sleeper. And through that knowledge, you come up with a great deal of strength and advantage in the dream. You're no longer affected by the dream. You know the dream to be in you rather than you in the dream, and that alleviates your fear, sets you free in the dream to play freely, knowing that it is unreal. So this, to communicate with the divine, with our divine nature, with this universe at large, with anything that we don't consider ourselves. Call it God, call it the divine, call it the ultimate principle, whatever you want to call or name it is fine. But understand that in a mind with unselfishness in it, a mind with no me or mine in it, that which naturally arises in that mind is an expression of the divine, the voice of God, as it were. And so if you're a person who prays and you want answers to your prayer, this is the way to receive that. Lay out your petition and then sit in silence, silencing everything about yourself, and listen until there's a knowing, as it were. That which is pure mind is also pure buddhi. Buddhi is the discerning faculty, the intelligence, as it were. So pure mind is also pure buddhi, and that again is also pure Atman. Pure Atman is the undifferentiated soul. It is the spirit of the divine. It is God. And there are no boundaries in that. And so this universal mind, as it were, pure mind and God are the same. Right? Impure mind is this world. Any world, and impurity, we don't really necessarily mean that in a negative way. Any disturbance in mind, any idea of me and mine in the mind creates a universe because it's an unnatural thought to the mind, and the mind has to rearrange everything in order to support that mistaken identity of ours. And again, it is pure Atman, because there is nothing pure but God. God is the unchanging absolute. He is the highest ideal, the purest ideal. He is that divine principle, or she, that, they are the divine principle. But in order to realize God, one must go beyond dharma and adharma, right? That is actually what Eve experienced after she ate from that tree. She now had a knowledge of dharma and adharma, things that take us toward our realization, toward truth, and things that take us away from truth, good and evil, if you will, in a term. That we see that there really is no inherent thing as evil. Evil is love seen from the other side. You know, someone who loves power has to abuse you in order to enjoy their love of power. But it is their love of power that is driving them. It's not their disdain for you necessarily. And so you feel the evil of their action. But they were still acting out of love. It was just a love that didn't include you. And so we have to come to a point where we love things that are according to nature, to our own nature, right? To understand that our nature is to alleviate suffering, that our nature is unselfishness, that our nature is wisdom. And so when we learn to act according to that, we transcend dharma and adharma. We're no longer manipulating the moment in order to manifest our desires in it. We are living in the moment purely to express that divine nature in ourselves. So there's a lot in there, a lot of things to think about. Have fun with them, enjoy them, and see what you can come up with to benefit your own quality of life.